Got a lot of great stuff in this episode. I'm going to talk about the F word that you should be using more in your life. This is really great. We're going to get into that. I'm going to talk about how to tell the difference between fear and intuition. So you know when that little voice is talking to you, you know which it is. We're going to get into that. And I'm also going to talk about the 80-20 rule. Understanding this rule can change everything for you. So we're going to get into that too. If you have any questions or comments, remember we are live, so drop them into the comment box. If you're watching this as a replay, we appreciate that too. Drop your question there, and we do check these all the time, and we'll get to it. All right. So let's start with the F word that you need to use more of. It's the F word that you need to embrace in your life. Now, do you have any idea what it is? Well, the F word you need to use more is forgiveness, because it's the gift that you give, not yourself. It's a gift you give someone else. You know, so many people today yearn for happiness and love, but they just can't seem to find it. We live in a world today where there is so much. There are so many choices, so many resources, so many freedoms, so much technology. Yet so many people, they live lives that are filled with more stress, less enjoyment than people in the past. So what is going on with this, right? What are we missing? Well, there are all kinds of ways to answer the question, but I've worked with millions of people during 30 years, and I can tell you one thing. People have these patterns of perception. That is the way they look at things. That's the way they label things. How they look and label at experiences, at other people, at events that happen to them. Many of these things cause them to feel frustrated or constricted is a good word, squeezed, constricted with life. Now, I've met a few amazing people over the years who always have a life filled with abundance and purpose. Those are the ones who lead meaningful lives, and they are truly happy. They are genuinely happy because that happiness is not tied to things. It's not tied to money. It's not tied to a job. It's not tied to another person. They have that within themselves, right? They have that connection with themselves, and they're happy. The amazing thing is, no matter how blessed that their life is, like I said, wealth or health, family, opportunities to learn and a chance to give back, the number one pattern that completely destroys people is expectation. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's the catch. Expectations. So expectations, if you really want to be stressed, all you have to do is expect, right? If you want stress is, you want something other than what you have now. You're always looking off into the future for your payoff. If you really want stress, just start expecting life and everyone in it to think and speak and act and behave the way that you have somehow in your mind predetermined that they should. Now think about what I just said. If you think that sounds crazy, you're right, but we do it every day. We get stressed out because life and everyone in it isn't the way we think it should be. Guess what that brings you? A life of stress and a life of pain. Now, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And as a human being, we all have different values. We all have different beliefs and fears. We have different needs and habits. That's the reason why even the most loving person can in a moment become insensitive, mean, at least unconscious of what kind of impact they're having on you. So what if the only way that you can be happy is for everyone to act or communicate every moment in ways that meet your ideal expectations? Then you plan on life of continuous disappointment and continuous pain. Life not being the way you think it should be is the number one cause of stress. So what's the solution to being disappointed all the time? Trust that people do the best they can with what they have. When you experience someone doing something unconscious, it's helpful to remember it's never about you. It's almost always about the person and their feelings and their stress and their pressure. They've gone into some sort of survival mode. People in this mode, because back in the day, survival mode, you walked out of your hut and there was a tiger. So it was fight or flight. You went into survival mode. Nowadays, we lead a cushy life. We don't have that same need, but we still have that same mode of survival inside of us. So we can go blind instantly, go into rage, go into deep depression. It happens to the very best of us. It's the part of being human that we deal with being here. We can't expect everything to be perfect all the time, but you need to start taking those expectations, take them down to the car lot and trade them in for appreciation. That's it. If you take expectation away and replace it with appreciation, everything transforms. You know how it feels when people want you to give them something, right? It takes away the gift of spontaneous surprise. It takes away the joy that you're able to get from giving. By contrast, when you appreciate whatever life or whatever people in your life bring you, you are choosing to guarantee openness and invite the joy that we had as children before we get spoiled by the world, right? And before we spoil those kids with giant birthday parties and we start creating unrealistic expectations that life and people all exist to meet their desires and needs. There's so much anger and frustration, hurt, depression, sadness that happens when we expect people to be loving, generous, compassionate, proactive, present, supportive. Sometimes people will be all of these things if they feel secure in their life, or if you're lucky to know one of those people with a really bright disposition. Just maybe you're lucky enough to have these kind of experiences with close friends who love you and family, and you have high standards to consistently act this way. But the larger group of people that you interact with, the greater the chance that you'll receive a variety of responses. And if your well-being is based on those people acting a certain way back to you, you simply will not have much well-being. So the power of, I guess, two F words, because really it's forgiveness and it's faith. Other than gratitude, which really is underneath both of those, no two human emotions have greater impact on the quality of your life than forgiveness and faith. We will always carry anger. We will always carry hurt with us in our heart as long as we have expectations of other people, expectations of life conditions that we can't control. I love it when somebody goes outside and the day is ruined, they say, because it's raining. On something like weather that you have no control over. If you allow the weather to ruin your day because it's not the way you want, man, that's a great place to start. That is a great place to start. Forgiveness is really an understanding that the only person you hurt when you're upset, and it doesn't matter how justified you are, people can justify themselves to death. My mother did this, my dad didn't do this, I was an only child, I was adopted, blah, 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 right? No matter how much we want to justify something, the only person you hurt when you're upset is you. Even if everything inside you wants to blame someone else, consider instead giving yourself a gift, the gift of forgiving your expectations. You know, Nelson Mandela was a great man. And being in prison all those years and coming out, and his greatest line, I think, was, they can cage my body, but not my mind. He came out, became president, and he had an amazing ability. He's imprisoned unjustly, and then he comes out and he forgives the people who took away 25 years of his life. When people asked him how did he survive, he said he didn't survive, he prepared. He prepared to forgive so that if he did survive, he'd be able to let go and move on. He knew that only in letting go would he be able to lead himself and lead others to transform his beloved home of South Africa. Mandela said, as I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew that if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. Nelson Mandela understood fundamentally that forgiveness is not a gift we give others. It's a gift we give ourselves. It's the true freedom from stories of our past that we tell ourselves, and from the rage and the pain and the anger that eats away at our mind and body and soul. Gandhi, Oprah, Nelson Mandela, they're not the only people capable of this kind of radical forgiveness. The truth is, we all are. When we raise our standards, we free ourselves. Ask yourself, what if everything in life really did happen for a reason? What if everything really did have a purpose and it always served us in the long run? What if life was happening for us and not to us? What if even the pain and the problems had a higher purpose? And that purpose was growth and the evolution of our souls. If you were to look back on your life, I would bet that you've had some painful experiences that you would never, ever want to experience again. And yet, some of those horrible past experiences, and you may already know this, that while you would never want to experience them again, thank God you did, because it caused you to develop a depth of insight, a depth of caring or inner strength that you never knew you had, and something that to this day shapes who you are. When you tap into this level of consciousness, that means you have a higher meaning. You have found higher meaning in your past pain. You didn't just forgive to forgive. Your faith moved you beyond the experience itself and through the higher purpose that you found. You freed and you strengthened your spirit. I can tell you, it's the people who give up the story of what happened to them and find a higher meaning. Those are the ones who grow, who lead, who give, and who experience life to its deepest fulfillment. We all think our problems are so huge, right? But there is always someone out there who's being asked to bear even more. To be truly free and to be truly happy, we must give up expectations. Our biggest problem is probably the belief that we're not supposed to have problems. Our power is in our problems. Our power is in our problems. You know why? They unleash our resourcefulness. They cause us to grow. They force us to get out of our comfort zone, to respond consciously and compassionately to them. Radical forgiveness and faith in guidance or a higher meaning in our experience is the answer. Research has shown that biochemical changes in blood flow to different parts of the brain when we're angry, and conversely, when we choose to forgive. Numerous studies prove that hosting anger and chronic negative emotion erodes physical health. It alters your cardiovascular health. It completely screws up your sleep quality, and it starts to stimulate the production of stress-related hormones like cortisol. Conversely, forgiveness promotes well-being. It promotes cardiovascular health, and it may even increase your survival rate. So I know what you're thinking. It's my job. How do I do it? How do I find it in my heart? Well, maybe try and channel a role model, somebody like Mandela. Tap into a time in the past when you found forgiveness and choose to unleash that healing power again, right now. When did you forgive even before someone said they were sorry? When can you choose to forgive without requiring an apology or any conditions? Where can you own a higher meaning and finally set yourself free? How can you just let go? It sounds so easy. People hate when I say that, some people. You don't understand. I do. It's not the same for everyone. Some people are letting go of tons of weight. Others, just small things. But to each and every person, it's different. To each and every person, it's important. But all you've got to do is go back. Go back to trading in your expectations. And one way to get in this habit, if you want to start this right away, is just to be grateful. Find 10 minutes a day. Be grateful for as many things as you can. Write them down. I do it every morning as a part of my morning routine. 10 minutes of gratitude. I journal each and every day. Writing down and feeling the gratitude for the things you have now increases that feeling, that frequency, that energy, and you get more to be grateful for. Life is easy when you understand the geometry of it all. And I was horrible at math as a kid, right? And I thought I hated math and I was just dumb. The truth is, when I was a little kid, I got the idea in my head that I wasn't good at math. But that wasn't the truth. That was just what I started to believe. And that thought, that's what we all do. We take a thought and we keep thinking it. And we keep thinking it and we supercharge it with emotion, with feelings of inadequacy. We supercharge it. And then that thought, just a thought, nothing, right? That thought becomes a belief. And when the thought pattern turns into a belief pattern, then you're in trouble, because that is going to be what's running in your subconscious every time you go on autopilot. Be grateful for what you have. What's interesting is we're all capable of doing this. And I'll tell you another thing. You're incapable of being angry and grateful at the same time. As amazing as our supercomputer of a mind is, you're not going to have both things going at the same time. One can override the other. So get grateful. If you start cultivating this emotion in your daily life, it starts rewiring the subconscious. It starts to change your brain. It makes it easier to forgive for what others get stuck and stressed over. Feeling grateful more often over little things. I promise you, this results in the ability to forgive easier, quickly, and you start freeing yourself from pain. If you're not forgiving, then you're still blaming. And you're blaming something outside of yourself. And that's normal. Most people are not good at forgiveness, but they are amazing at blame. It's human nature. So I think we put our strength to good use. If you're going to blame someone for all your pain, if you're going to make them responsible for where you are right now, then you've got to blame them for all your joy too. If you're going to blame the universe for all your tragedies, then you got to blame it for all your gifts. If you're going to blame your parents for being so terrible, then blame them for the strength that it gave you later on. What's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. Growth and new insights and freedom and happiness and joy and love, they're only faith and forgiveness away. It's powerful, so powerful. Forgiveness, such a difficult thing for people to do. Yes, Laura, you're right. Forgive and have faith. It's the answer. Forgiveness, again, not for them. You're not saying, I'm okay with what you did. You're doing it for you. You're cutting that cord and releasing that dead weight. You are dragging all this dead weight around with you through your entire life. And it's important to cut that cord and let it go. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the 80-20 rule. I was talking to a client about this yesterday. With this, you can use less energy and you can get way more results. Now, we live in this world today, like I said, it's hectic, right? And there's all these phrases, go big or go home. It's too big to fail. Remember the Titanic? It's unsinkable. Yeah. But what if bigger isn't better? What if having a one-track mind isn't a bad thing? I'm going to tell you, 30 years, I've taught people all about the power of the mind. And I can tell you right now, the absolute truth, it's not. Having a one-track mind is a good thing. And this role proves it. Now, whatever you think about consistently and you start to put emotion in and you focus on appears in your life. It grows in your life. You move towards that. You attract it to you. No one wants to spend their life being pulled in a million directions and making them feel like they don't have any time for what's important to them. Now, when you leverage this rule in your life, you don't have to do that. So what do you want to know? You want to know what it is. What is the 80-20 rule? Well, this is a principle, and I've heard a lot of spiritual teachers talk about this, a lot of motivational speakers. The 80-20 rule, though, at its heart, it's just a principle that 20% of what you do results in 80% of your outcome. Okay, right? I'm the one who didn't like math, so let me put it easier. 80% of your outcome results from 20% of your inputs. Okay? The 80-20 rule is timeless, and it's all about focus, which is one of the most important things, intention and focus, learning to control your mind, learning to gain crystal clear focus. That's what it's all about. That's what the meditation is for. That is what all of that is, training the mind. So much of your output right now is determined by relatively small amount of what you do each and every day. So focusing on the most productive tasks always are going to bring in greater output. The 80-20 rule is used all over the world, used in business, but I like it in your personal life too, because personal goals, this fits like a glove. Things like finances or spending or learning something new, picking up a new skill. That is where the 80-20 rule really flies for me and just goes sky high. The 80-20 rule, it requires you to throw out a few things, a few of those myths that you have up there about productivity. First, the myth that we have that everything matters equally. It doesn't. Break down that wall that you have and start to prioritize. Second, it's this myth of multitasking. When you try to focus on everything at once, you end up not focusing on anything at all. You've diluted your energy. You've diluted your focus over so many things. And that's what we do inside our body with our life force energy. We're using that to hold down all these negative emotions and feelings, our past girlfriend and, and even good things, the first car, our first kiss. We're using all of our willpower separated over a million different things. And we are using that intention and willpower subconsciously to hold all of that crap inside of us. Everything that makes the 80-20 rule work is about focus. Time, whether you believe, time is a man-made construct, right? But time is also the currency of achievement. Some people seem to cash in their time for more achievement than others. So why is it that they can do that and the rest of us can't? One reason that a lot of people don't achieve what they want is they never direct their focus. They never concentrate with this incredible intention and power because they have too much up there. The 80-20 rule is one way of saying, of explaining, of overcoming this problem. When you understand the answer to the question, what is the 80-20 rule? You'll understand that high achievers don't have fewer obligations, more help from others, or better luck. You know what they have? They have more focus. I've worked with a lot of professional athletes in my career, coaching. I've done the Cleveland Browns, Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, and one-on-one with a lot of athletes. What every professional athlete wants, they want to be able to get into the zone. They want to be able to stay there longer. Okay? They want laser sharp focus. Okay? The one thing you got to do, it's stop the thieves. There are thieves out there. They're stealing your time. They're stealing your passion. They're keeping you from achieving your dreams. Everything is possible if you start to prioritize and put all of your energy into accomplishing the most important thing. So how do I do it? How do I use it? You can't use this rule to your advantage unless you know what it is that you want to focus on. How do you cut out all the background noise? How do you hone in, zero in on that 20% that's going to make an extraordinary difference in your life? It's going to create and design a new life. Just follow this equation. Purpose plus priority equals productivity. Purpose plus priority equals productivity. So let's start with your purpose. Your purpose is the foundation of everything in your life, everything in your business. Each time you make any kind of decision or any kind of change, ask yourself, does this serve my purpose? If you don't know your purpose, you can't create goals. You can't take action. It's just that important. It's mission critical. Your purpose could be something like having more time with your family, the freedom to live life on your terms, or the money to travel the world. In business, your purpose is your company vision. It's the reason you started the business in the first place. It's the difference you wanted to make in the world. When you apply the 80-20 rule the right way, you start off thinking big, but not for long. Because then you start to narrow down your priorities. It's time to get more specific. What is holding you back from living your life of purpose, whether it's in your private life or in your business? Maybe you need to finally take the leap and start your own business. Maybe you need to save money for a down payment on a house. You may need to find or create new efficiencies in your business or improve your processes. Write down 5 things you could start doing today to build the extraordinary life that you want. We put off everything till tomorrow. We even put off our joy. It's always looking forward to the vacation, looking forward to the weekend. I'll be happy when I get this. I'll be happy when I get this job, meet this person, do this thing. No. Make yourself happy first, and then the world changes on the outside. Write down 5 things you could do today to start building the life of your dreams. A life where you get to live your purpose every single day. Then prioritize them by how fast they get you to your goal. The top item, the most meaningful item, is your first priority. Now, you're not done yet. Priorities are nice, but they're not enough to get you over the finish line. You need to create SMART goals, steps you can take that are specific, that are achievable, measurable, realistic, and anchored within a time frame. SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and anchored within a certain time frame. That's SMART. You need to hold yourself accountable to them. These specific action items are the real 20% of the 80-20 rule. The things that you'll spend 20% of your time doing that will yield the best results. I promise you, this will be worth everything. This will change everything if you can do just this one thing. Prioritize what's important. Don't spread your life force out over so many different things. I also want to talk a little bit. People ask me all the time, why I do this. Knowing what my career, I performed all over the world for 30 years. I've earned my living teaching people about the amazing power of the mind. I've entertained millions of people. I've motivated millions of people. I've worked with many hundreds of private coaching clients. I've been lucky. My career has allowed me to go all around the world several times. I've appeared everywhere from television to casinos, theaters, major corporations all over the world. But I wasn't just an entertainer. I always wanted anything that I do, any performance, to go beyond entertainment. I used to go into it with the idea that I want to challenge the audience. I want to challenge their minds. And it always worked. No matter where I would go, I would always see so much curiosity among the people who experienced the show. They want to talk about it. They want to learn how they can do these types of things themselves, how they can apply them in their everyday lives. That's why I'm here. I know that ordinary people are capable of extraordinary results. I've seen it. I've worked with presidents, prime ministers, all the way down to paupers and everyone in between. But every one of us, we possess near infinite capabilities, and they are far beyond what our senses can perceive and what our mind can understand. They are so far beyond our wildest imagination. My intention here is to provide a context so you can begin experiencing the greater things in life that you never knew were possible, that you dared only dream about. There is no reason to live a normal life once you wake up to the fact that you have incredible capabilities. Nothing is beyond your ability. Nothing is impossible. As you go through these trainings with me, as you start to learn these things, you will start to be awed by your own mind. You'll be given the key to unlock the power within, and that key has been in your pocket all along. You'll discover how to get what you want in ways you've never experienced before. Now, there are some people always that approach this sort of thing with skepticism. Show me how this can be, right? That's okay. I'm like that sometimes. But I believe the cynical "this just can't be" can separate you, can keep you, can roadblock you from your natural mental gifts. My best results happen when I'm open to greater possibilities. I want you to be open to higher and more powerful things. You'll see it when you believe it. Like Wayne Dyer used to say, we all say, "I'll believe it when I see it." No, it's you'll see it when you believe it. Start right now. Einstein said imagination is everything. It's more important than knowledge. It's the preview of life's coming attractions. So I want to say this: give yourself permission. Open yourself to the possibilities that will enable you to achieve far greater things than you ever thought possible. Set your imagination free. Untether it and let it soar. Come with me on this extraordinary journey. That's why we're here. We're taking a journey into our own minds. We have so much fun, but the knowledge is transformational. And I think when you realize how incredibly powerful you really are, you take your power back. And when you do that, you change everything in your life. Laura, you're welcome. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. So let's go into this. The last thing we're going to cover today is fear versus intuition. It's the great grudge match. It's the battle of the century. So what are the differences? What is the difference between fear and intuition? Well, There's more wisdom in your body than in your deepest philosophy. You ever heard that saying? When you're faced with an opportunity to grow, it's normal to feel hesitant and to feel unsure. But how do you know the difference between helpful, directive fear that needs to be metabolized and moved through, and your intuition trying to tell you not to do something that you will probably later regret? This is an important distinction. I run my life, all parts of it, my business, my private life, by trusting my intuition. First in life, I wanted to make money. I've made millions of dollars. Didn't make me happy. I've had the sports cars, the mansions, toured everywhere in the world. Didn't make me happy. Trusting my intuition changed everything because it's never steered me wrong. Once you learn to tell the difference between that chattery mind or that chattery voice in your head that I call the bitchy roommate, that's never giving you a break, constantly telling you how horrible you are or what horrible things are going to happen to you. When you know the difference between that voice and intuition, when those gut-based alarms go off and you know, changes everything. Whenever I feel torn about a situation and I can't tell right away if I'm experiencing healthy, normal fear, like a sign to say yes to this and grow, or is it an intuitive hit to run the other way? You can always find the answer the way I do, through a subtle body check. It only takes seconds. It produces a clear answer every single time. This is big. This secret, people sell this. This is so big. And I'm giving it to you today. Here's how you do it. You get in a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, at least 3, and allow your mind to settle. We do not breathe enough. We don't breathe deeply. We're never getting enough oxygen. So take a few moments and take several, 4 or 5 deep breaths. Allow your mind to settle down. Be present in your body. I do this every day. It's the very first thing I do during meditation. So you're sitting, you've taken your deep breaths, your mind is settled. You feel the seat under your butt. You feel your hands on your knees, whatever. You're present in your body. Now, ask yourself this question and pay very careful attention to your instant, involuntary, interior body reaction. Here's the question. Does saying yes to this make me feel expansive or contracted? In other words, when you imagine moving ahead with this opportunity, with this person, whatever, what happens in your body the nanosecond after you ask that question? Does saying yes to this make me feel expansive or contracted? Do you feel an openness? Do you feel a sense of moving forward? Do you feel a lightness in your chest? Do you feel joy, excitement? Do you feel fun? Or do you feel an immediate sense of heaviness and an immediate sense of dread? Does your heart, as they say, sink? Do you detect, even slightly, a tightening in your chest or a sick feeling in your stomach? Does something very subtle inside you retreat, pull back, close down, shut off? Even though declining may not make logical sense to you. Those are the only 2 ways it can go. When you are seated, you've taken your breaths, your eyes are closed, you are sitting in stillness, you are mindful, you are present. Now you just ask yourself, does saying yes to this make me feel expansive or contracted? If you feel joy, excitement, fun, openness, good. But if you feel heaviness, dread, your heart sinking, tightening in your chest. Now, look, I'm not talking about your thoughts, okay? Remember, we don't care what the bitchy roommate says. I'm not interested in what your mind thinks you should do. You have to pay attention to the truth and wisdom in your body, in your heart. When you pay close attention and listen to your nonverbal, almost pre-verbal cues, you'll notice a predominance of energy moving in one direction or the other. Obviously, if you feel anything close to expansive, to joyful, or excited, that's intuition signaling to move ahead and say yes. Contraction or a sense of dread means it's a no-go. Your body has innate wisdom that extends far beyond reason and logic. Our mind connects to our soul. Our mind is what makes it all happen. But the heart, when you're using those together in conjunction, you can then use the innate wisdom of the rest of the body. You can't think your way into accessing your body's intelligence. You have to feel your way in. The mind can do the most incredible things in the universe, but there's some things that you would think seemingly easy that it cannot do. No matter how much you think and try to figure it out, the only way to get in is by feeling it. Your heart, your gut, your intuition, whatever you call it, is way more intelligent than your thinking mind. The mind we have this amazing supercomputer and we use it for menial tasks. It's like using the most sophisticated computer in the world as a calculator. That's what we're doing. We live in a screen-focused culture. Everyone's looking at their phone. Everyone's looking at their laptop, their iPad, their Apple Watch. And you know what that does? It normalizes living from the neck up, right? Feeling and hearing what your body communicates takes practice. And like every other skill, you can learn it and you can develop it. So if you want to gain better control over telling the difference between fear and intuition, there's a few questions that can help you. Just keep in mind the wisdom how to deal with the fear of anything is in your body. Direct your attention inward, as you answer these questions. Do I really want this? Does saying yes make me feel delight or dread? Does this feel joyful and fun? I'll tell you something I do. A great thing to say is, if I had 50 million bucks in the bank, would I still do this? If money was not an object, would I still do this? This is the question that always gets it for me. Because back in the day, it was all about the money. Another good question is, when I'm around this person or organization or environment, do I feel more confident? Do I feel more capable? Or do I feel less than? Do I compare myself to everyone? After I'm around this person, place, thing, do I feel more energized or less energized? Do I trust them? Asking yourself that question and watching the feeling the body reaction. That's a great question. Do I feel safe, understood, and respected? And if the answer to any one of those three is no, don't do it. Notice the first thing you feel or you blurt out, even if it surprises you. You got to break these patterns of what we've done before, what we think things should be. When we keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting change, that's insanity. You're never going to get a new outcome unless you do something differently. Fear and intuition, knowing the difference between those two things, such a huge step to changing your life.
Now, if you'd like to go deeper into all of this,
you can take a visit to my website at brentwebtraining.com. Everything that is wrong in your life, I don't care if it's health, I don't care if it's finances, if it's love, it has to do with your mind and your mindset. You have the power to transform your life. You just don't know it, and you just don't know how to access that ability. Let me show you how. With mind power, I quit smoking, drinking, I beat cancer's ass, I increased my finances, and you can too. In fact, I guarantee it. Stop waiting. Stop putting your dreams off one more day, because finally there's going to come that moment when there is no more days, when it's all over. I spent my entire career teaching the 2% how to master their mind, unlock their mind power, transform themselves. Presidents, prime ministers, professional sports teams, celebrities. Those aren't the people who need this information. I've done everything I can do now to bring this information to the mass public. Do me a favor. I want you to go right now, and I want you to check out brentwebtraining.com. There, you can watch videos of my students. You can live vicariously through them. You can see my one-of-a-kind, no-risk money-back guarantee. No one does this. I offer 100% of your money back plus $1,000 in cash if you implement my system and it doesn't work. I can only do that because it's never failed. No one fails when they do the work. Everything that you need is here, and I've done everything I can to break it down into bite-sized chunks. It's 52 modules, a one-year program, and when the year's up, you will have transformed your life. I guarantee it. So right now, I want you to take just a moment and listen to two of my students. First, there's Amy. She saw me on television. She was just diagnosed with stage 4 cancer all through her body. She was a wreck, as anyone would be, not knowing what to do, a single mother. But she knew she wanted to come to see me. Listen to this.
I saw you on television. So I was in horrible pain for 4 months, went to a hospital and begged and pleaded for them to discover what was wrong with me. And they did. And they let me know I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. And it is in a lot of places. Like every vertebrae, my ribs, pelvis, my shoulders, and some organs. So I panicked. And I saw you on television and said, I don't remember what the words were, but I knew you knew the secret. I knew you had it in you, and I needed to meet you. I had a cane because I refused the walker at the time. I just took little shuffle steps, parked my car.
2 years ago, right? 2 years ago.
Yeah. I was in excruciating pain. I was taking baby steps. I could still barely move. You talked about my child, his school, my parents, their address. Like, I was like, all right, then. So I imposed upon you afterwards and said, oh, please, let's talk. And I knew you knew the secret, and I knew you knew what I needed to know to move forward. And I was ecstatic.
I like, honest to God, like, it's insane. It's insane how much my life has changed since I've been like working with you and doing your program. And even though like I haven't been following like the meditation every day or anything like that, but like everything else that you have like taught me or brought to me has significantly changed who I am and how I react to life. And just, I cannot thank you enough. Honestly, I'm so grateful. I hope you realize that.
Can you really transform your life? You can. I've seen it happen with hundreds, thousands of my students all over the world. Not only is it possible, you will do it. You will make it happen. Success leaves footprints. If you want to do something, you got to go to someone who's done that thing before. I don't care what you're dealing with. If it's finances, then there's a lack mindset that you've got to overcome. Whether it's health, whether it's relationships, it doesn't matter. When you take control of your mind, you can change everything in your life. Right now, go to brentwebtraining.com. See what I've done for others. See what I can do for you. This is no bullshit. This is going to transform your life. Stop waiting. Everything you've been looking for is here. No halfway, no pie in the sky, no unproven methods. Everything I've done is tried and tested. This is my 30th year. 30th year. And there's a reason I'm still here. BrentWebTraining.com. Take a look. See what I can do for you. I guarantee your life will never be the same. Now, if you're not a member of our Facebook community, that is your first step. We are a fantastic group. We are supporting each other. And I am teaching what I know each and every day inside this group. It's absolutely free. So go now. It's facebook.com/groups/students of self-empowerment. Lots of my students are in there. But remember, if you want to go deeper, make those transformative changes, you want to go to BrentWebTraining.com. It's BrentWebTraining.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want you to go out. I want you to enjoy yourself. And remember, we got one shot. This is it. Don't let fear stand in your way. Fear is a dream killer. Let's make those dreams come true. BrentWebTraining.com. Go out and enjoy yourself. Remember, don't worry. Be happy and feel good. I'll see you soon.